Story time. I was in the presence of the whale, the mother whale, Ezekiel's whale, ladies and gentlemen. Why am I sitting in the sun? I don't know. I think it looks nice on the skin. But anyways, before I even get into the story, I am sharing this because I feel like I should probably share this. It's been a few years now. I do not care if you believe me. I'm not sharing this to get you to believe me. You don't know me. I don't know you. I don't really care if you believe me. But I feel like it's time to share, and that it's something to share, especially around this time, and to bear witness to the Honorable Miss Liz Farrakhan's experience. So, circa May 2022, I go on this trip, literally the best trip of my life. I had so much fun, barely even touched my phone, and that's very telling for someone who does everything on their phone, who works on their phone, who lives on their phone. Great weekend, good vibes, good spirits. I literally felt like for the first time in my life, that was a trip where I actually did not want to go home. Usually I get bored and I get tired and I'm ready to go home. But this trip, it was just different. I was with a bunch of spirited young people. It just felt different. It literally felt like I was in heaven. So last day of the trip, it was a beautiful day. We go and get ice cream, swim, whole nine. All of a sudden, there's these very dark clouds coming in, and it starts getting really windy and rainy. And I distinctly remember looking at my phone and checking the weather app to see if there was supposed to be a storm coming in, and there was nothing. It was the forecast was clear. So I don't know what it is about storms and wind and just strange weather, but I like to look at it. So I would look out the window as this was happening, because all of us, we were in a lobby around this time. This was the night of the last day of the trip. So I was just looking out at the storm. We were just all looking at it because it was weird, because like 30 minutes prior to all of that, it was a beautiful day. The sun was beautiful. And all of a sudden we just see these strange clouds and the wind just going crazy. It was blowing around chairs and stuff all outside by the pool. It was crazy. So some time goes by. All of a sudden, because of the weather, it was just weird. I started getting anxious. I started feeling like I was having an anxiety attack, but it wasn't an anxiety attack. It was just the anxiety of whatever was happening. And I wasn't the only one to experience this. I was not the only one to feel something weird going on in the atmosphere. And there are actually people who attended this trip who had some visual experiences. I'm not going to get into that because I'm not them. They can share that whenever they want to, if they want to. But we all experienced something that we cannot explain. And it was a very physical, spiritual experience that I've never experienced in my life. And even talking about it, I feel as if the emotions come back and it's like I'm there. So as we all go into our rooms and we go get ready for bed, I start to doze off a bit. None of us are really communicating what we're experiencing, by the way. We all are just feeling this kind of way. I briefly knew what was going on with two people because they were kind of telling me, but they weren't really being vocal about what they were going through. It was just everybody was having a different experience, and we just weren't necessarily communicating about it. We didn't talk about it till the day after. But all of that was happening. Before we all went to sleep, I was in the hotel room looking out of the balcony because we were just fascinated by this storm that came out of nowhere. And it was just, I don't know, it just made me anxious. Again, I just like to look outside when there's a storm because I'm like, I don't know why, it's just I have this inclination to look. But it was a lightning storm. And I have video clips of me like just saying, this was like 11 o'clock at night, it was really late. But I was just saying, like, there is a lot of lightning. Why is this lightning not striking? You don't hear thunder or anything. So what is this lightning doing? It's just, why is there so much lightning? And just, why are there so many clouds? I was just questioning everything. And you could tell that in my voice, I was kind of anxious because I was speaking really fast. But later, after this day, the next day, all of us who did have an experience, we talked. And we wholeheartedly believe that we were in the presence of the whale. Not because of what I'm saying, because of how I felt, but because of some counts of the other people and what they actually saw. But yeah, that was quite the weekend, quite the day. I knew that it happened when it happened because nobody can tell me otherwise because of the way that I was feeling and because of what we experienced. But a year later, 2023, Dr. Wesley does a lecture in Chicago on Sunday on the wheels. And he explains, or he breaks down how Allah showed California, which is where the Battle of Los Angeles came from and originated, back in the 1930s or 40s. He showed them the mother wheel, and the mother wheel literally stayed there for like, I think it was maybe a day or a few hours or so. It was just in the air. And based off of accounts of that occurrence, the people were saying that it was that the ship came in a lightning storm. It was just lightning everywhere. It wasn't really hitting anything, but it was just a lightning storm. The lightning was contained. And for me, that's when my experience in 2022 really clicked, and I was just like, wow, that was a wheel that we seen. That was really what we experienced. Like, I didn't visually see the ship, but just to be in the presence of it, it just, the only way I can describe it is anxious, because you really don't know how to explain it. Even to see something like that, I'm actually probably at that time grateful that I did not see it, because I don't know how I would respond. But just to be in the presence of it that day, and the fact that it came to visit us, it just made us all feel like, wow, us? Why would it come to see little random us? We were all like really young in our early 20s, late teens. It was just so random. But Allah's the best planners. He knew exactly what he was doing. He wanted us to have that experience. And it just, nothing has been the same for any of us since that experience. And again, the other people who attended, they can share it if they want to. They can speak on their experiences. But my experience is that I was in the presence in the will, and no one can convince me otherwise. And that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is alive and well at the right hand of Master Faruk Muhammad. And Imam Mrs. Faruk is not a liar. So I pray, and I feel as if my life is, I'm just striving to be an example of that. And that experience kind of confirmed with me, even though it was 3-something years ago now. Wow, almost 4. But even though it was 3 years ago, that he is real. The will is real, and that it is something that is beyond our comprehension, and that even to be in its presence is just, I don't know if we're really ready for that. You know, a lot of us say, we want to see the will, but until it actually happens, or until you have an experience where Allah like shows it to you, or you see it in a dream or whatever, you really don't know what that's like. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. Again, I'm not sharing this to make it seem like, not to make it seem like, but I'm not sharing this to be believed by people. I don't really care if you believe me or not, but I want to share it because 'tis the season. The nation will never fall again, and that's all. Thank you for listening.